and some songs that involve the number seven. And so I saw that that was a way to weave all those things into the story and have a kind of a connecting element between them. So it'll make sense what I'm talking about uh, uh, once people out there read the book. But yeah, no, the number seven was a big influence.
So hey, with Ready Player One, I think a lot of people who'd never worn a VR headset got exposure to the tech and to your vision through the book and through the movie. And part of the fun, I think, I imagine, of being a sci-fi writer is you're also a futurist in a way. I mean, that's part of the gig of being a sci-fi writer, which sounds really fun. And I think, in Ready Player Two, I think you go even a little further and there's some really exciting kind of vision going beyond that. When we at Roblox, we kind of done the same thing. We've had vision for 15 years and it takes a lot of time for some of these things to become reality, but when they do, it's super satisfying. And I'm wondering for you, how's it feel when you see some things in real life come true, after you've written about them?
Well, it's gratifying, but I don't automatically assume that it was my book that helped inspire it, unless sometimes like with the Oculus Rift, the people who worked on that told me in person that some things from Ready Player One had inspired them. But it's so much easier when you're a writer to just write. Wouldn't it be cool? Than it is to actually make it. It's like easy for me to design an amazing video game in a story.
Yeah,
Yeah, but as you know, it's much harder to actually make the real thing.
I
So
I think
yeah,
that could be a good thing though, right? Because us technologists, we can get locked in by how difficult it is to build stuff. Where writers and futurists, you have the freedom of the written word, right? There's no limit to what you
right,
can imagine. And then the technologists more have to like figure out, can we really build it?
right. And they're the only ones that can really build it. If it was just left up to the writers, all this stuff would remain fantasy. But that's something that I remember hearing about Star Trek, the old Star Trek series. They had those doors that would open automatically, and that's what inspired those doors in grocery stores. Like people at home saw that, and then real engineers went and made it work. So science fiction has always kind of played that role of what extrapolating where our technology might go. But yeah, that's one of the funnest parts of being a science fiction writer is imagining where the technology will lead us, and then how the technology, once it arrives, is going to affect people's day to day lives.
I love it because I think it's the best form of brainstorming is unencumbered brainstorming, without
Yeah.
limit. And I think that's a little bit of what you do in your book. So nice
Oh,
job.
thank you.
Almost like we're taking technology and then we go to pop culture at the same time, like in Ready Player One and now Ready Player Two, like you have this amazing intersection of pop culture with a vision of the future. And I think the reader or the movie viewer can almost get a little bit of a vibe of some of the things that have been important in your life. Can you riff a bit on some of the pop culture influences you've had?
We know they're endless. Anybody who read Ready Player One knows that my interest in pop culture is very broad. But for Ready Player Two, there are some specific facets of pop culture that I took inspiration from, like John Hughes films. Huge fan of John Hughes movies, especially the John Hughes movies that were set in high school.
Yeah.
And he created his own fictional high school, Shermer High School. His high school movies took place like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Kids in Weird Science, Pretty in Pink. They all went to a version of Shermer High School. And I was always fascinated with high school being the setting for all these, dramas about young people's lives,
Yeah.
and especially The Breakfast Club. It's probably my favorite of all time, and I think 90%, 95% of that movie takes place in the school library, which ends up being like this social battlefield for the four kids as they get to know each other. And I always thought that was the library is a fascinating place to set a movie. And it might be the only movie that's completely set in a library.
Yeah, Breakfast Club, one of my favorites. I love the soundtrack as well to that movie.
Oh, so great! Yeah.
So good. Seems like the book was so fun to write. Are there any moments that you felt were super fun without giving away too much?
I don't think I can give away the super fun moments without giving away too much. But I will tell you, it was I had fun. I had fun the whole time I was writing it. Because I knew, unlike with Ready Player One, when I wrote it, I knew I wasn't sure if anyone was ever going to read it. Outside of my friends and family. Whereas this, I knew there were a lot of people waiting and excited to read it, and that whatever I wrote, that story was going to play out. Those events were going to play out in millions of people's imagination, and imagination is even more powerful than computers or the movie platform. Like the human imagination, still you can't beat that. So I had a lot of fun thinking about elements in the story that would set people's imagination alight. Hopefully, so that's what I did my best. I'm really hope people enjoy it.
Well, I have a motion I make at Roblox, which is out of the park. So
Yeah.
I
Oh.
think it's out of the park. So I think
Oh.
everyone's gonna really enjoy reading Ready Player 2. Like, kudos to you. It's
Oh. Thanks.
awesome. And I think also the Robloxians are gonna love the challenges as well that we've got in store. So Ernie, thanks again. In the midst of all these crazy times, hanging with you has been a highlight for me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for making time to talk with me, and thank you for teaming up with me to do another Ready Player One, Ready Player Two event. This is I had so much fun the first time because it really is like bringing the story to life. What you guys are doing. This is Roblox is the closest thing to the Oasis, and this contest is like the closest thing to the contest described in the book in reality. And people all around the world get to take part in it. It's really amazing. It's like bringing the story to life. So I can't thank you guys enough.
Thank you, Ernie, again.
All right.
Over and out. Really enjoyed it.
All right. Thanks, Dave.